Because the future of the European Union will not be at 28. One member state is getting out of our union. New member states are willing to come in. It's a long process. It has always been a long process, and I think they know it perfectly well. And in the meantime, the European Union and its member states, we are reflecting on how to make our union more effective in decision-making and policy adoption, but also implementation. And if these two processes go hand in hand and in parallel, it's only good. It's about the future. And I think we can find good ways of, good and creative ways of moving forward together. And if I can say something that probably is not consolidated enough, but it's just a personal opinion, I wouldn't be surprised if we ever get to a two-speeds Europe to find some of the current member states in the second circle and some of the possible future new member states in the first one. You will never know. But it's about, again, the future of our union, and it's good if that debate takes place. On the dialogue, I have to say, positive and optimistic about the possibility for Belgrade and Pristina to reach a legally binding agreement on normalization of relations. It is obviously mentioned in the package we adopted today, both for Belgrade and for Pristina, as it has always been the case. And as I have repeatedly said, even if there are tensions and difficulties that are constantly arising, actually maybe even exactly because of this, the perspective and the possibility of advancing and reaching an agreement are there. And I strongly believe that the current leadership on the two sides and the population is aware of the fact that this is the time to move forward with determination, with a sense of compromise, and with a view to having a better situation for both Pristina and Belgrade. You mentioned that in your question, the beginning of the drafting of the statutes of the association community of the municipalities with Serbian majority has started in Pristina after a long time, too long time. I mentioned that repeatedly, including in Pristina, and also in Belgrade, and also in Brussels, consistently. And I think it is good news that it has started now. And I would encourage this work to proceed with determination and with good results and fastly, as well as you would see in the package we have adopted today, there are also other issues, other things that Belgrade needs to implement of the agreements that were signed. This is also a very important message I've always passed, and I constantly pass to both Belgrade and Pristina. I strongly believe, and probably I'm the strongest believer in the fact that an agreement can be reached on normalization of relations. This doesn't mean that the implementation of the already signed agreements shouldn't be going forward. On the contrary, the credibility of the new phase of the dialogue is and has to be built on the full implementation of previously agreed texts. And I'm only happy to see that steps